Welcome back, Whānau.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Nobody Asks podcast. Thank you guys again for watching, for subscribing, and all that good stuff. Please continue to show support by liking and subscribing.
Hi, Mom.
I figured out the comments. When you upload the YouTube video, it's so weird how they format it, but it's like, is this kid friendly or not kid friendly, you know? And so those two questions, I'm thinking, oh yeah, well, I guess it's kid friendly, like we're not, like, you know what I mean? And then
I don't know the like criteria for it.
if you click that, it turns the comments off, so kids can't comment and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And if you click no, it's not, then it asks you if you want to limit it to a certain age, and you just click no. So I was like, why are you asking me then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, figured it out. So now you guys can actually comment on the videos and stuff like that.
Yay. We're at 15 subscribers. Shout out to all of you.
Yeah, yes we are.
Love you all.
Which is actually pretty cool.
Thank you so much for supporting us.
Yeah, as always, please read and or listen to the disclaimer. Some topics may be triggering, and we are not trained professionals, and simply are sharing our personal experiences. If you go through or have gone through mental health problems, please seek professional help. However, we are more than willing to pray with you and or for you. God bless and enjoy. Okay, what's up, bro?
What's up, brother?
Just sniff holding the mic.
Brother.
One, I've been thinking about this a lot. So, like, these last few episodes we've been talking about, I guess, some of the changes I've been going through with life and blah, 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 blah. And a lot of it was like, not demoralizing, but it's like a lot of humility is involved, you know?
Yeah, bro.
And facing your problems and, I guess, confronting yourself, myself, acknowledging stuff that, you know, that I need to work on, and then working on them. There's a lot of like you know what I mean? And,
yeah.
And so one thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately is, how do men, in the midst of all of that chaos and I guess trauma or whatever, life, depression, just bad mental health in general, how does a man in New Zealand, I guess, a young Māori man, create confidence after all of that or during that?
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, because I think, for myself at least, I've seen both sides of the spectrum at like pretty high ends. Like, I remember when I was a little bit younger, probably even up to like down to days, I was way too confident, like way. So
Yeah.
I was like,
I was too.
but I was like, I think that stemmed from I don't know if it's obvious or not. It's obvious to me now. It wasn't back then. But it stemmed from like wanting to prove myself, wanting to look good in front of other people, wanting to impress other people, wanting to like, I don't even know if I necessarily wanted to like fit in with like the groups, but I wanted to make them like me in some kind of way or capacity or something like that.
I feel that.
Yeah, and so that was like me being overconfident. And let's touch on that first, because that really interests me. Why is that like a go-to thing for, I guess, men in society, that we have to be like overly confident? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. That's massive, G.
Mm.
When you think about it, I think a lot of one of the big contributing things to that is that whole fake it till you make it mindset. You know what I mean?
You know
if I look like I'm happy and it's all popping for me,
Yeah.
everyone's going to be like, wow, I want to attach myself to this.
It's almost like automatically ingrained for like when we hit a certain age, it just comes out. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like high school years and up.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, we just constantly like prove it and see. But like, where does that come from? Like, why do we make ourselves feel like it's a necessity that we have to prove something in the first place? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, where does that, like, why I think because it's a common theme that we see amongst like a lot of men, I guess, like in this country. Is that like necessity to like want to prove ourselves?
Yeah. That chip on your shoulder mentality.
Yeah. Friend groups, school, sports, like any place in society that a young man has then, a young boy has then, there's like this need to like prove yourself. And then because you see those guys at school, you know what I mean, like those guys that are just like, this is actually going a bit ahead, but this pisses me off to the max. Is the trend nowadays that I've seen with like teenagers as a whole, like nonchalant, like pretending to like not care, but like they're like oozes like ultimate confidence. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you want to do?
It's weird, bro, because like deep down, everyone knows that you should give, you should care about some things the way. But I don't know. I think it's media as well that kind of leans into that, bro. Because if you look back at when we were young, all the guys that were cool were the guys that were the best at things. Yeah, you know what I mean? The guys who worked the hardest and the guys who were at like the top of the food chain, so to speak. So I think because that was in media so much, like every TV show, every like anime and all that stuff, I always had the guy at the top who was either the strongest, the smartest, or like worked the hardest out of anyone. And I think like working hard is a good quality to have.
100%.
But at the same time, I think the reasons behind it should be solid instead of just you know,
like keep your intentions, like work hard to work hard, not to like
work hard to get towards something that benefits you, not to just look like you're doing that thing. You know what I mean?
And then I remember in school, like I was such an insecure kid, like puberty, heavy as acne. And I think my confidence was like a
shield for it almost.
I don't want to say like a defense, but it was almost like a tool that I knew I was gonna gain some form of relationships from people, you know.
I was the loud kid at school.
Was I loud?
I think that comes from like being in a big family.
Right.
And also, if everyone thinks you're funny, that means everyone thinks you're cool.
Humor's definitely like
But I've come now to think, wait, no.
You know, it's crack up. Just speaking on that, shortly, is like because I remember back then, everything was about girls. You know what I mean? Like everything was about girls, and like. I remember when it clicked that the funny guy was like the one that was gonna like get more girls than the one that was like going back to like media. You see like the love stories where the guy is like has a sob story or whatever, and like and then the girl comes saves him or vice versa. You know what I mean? I used to play that movie in my head so many times. Like, oh, if I try pretend to be like the like emo kind of depressed guy that
the sad wait bro the sad lonely stranger was another one that I think a lot of guys played on, and I always used to do that when I was at parties and stuff, and if I could see myself doing that, I'd be like, you idiot,
bro. Well, that's what like other girls are probably gonna be like, ooh, what a down buzzer, like, why are you even here? We're like, come on, hook up with me,
come talk to me, please.
I'm Scuck's ass.
I'm so Scucks, come talk to me, please.
Yeah, I was definitely the loud guy. I talked way too much cucka back then, bro. I talked so much cucka back then. Just insecure as. And that went all the way up to like my early 20s, I think, as well. But yeah, and so like there's that confidence in your, I guess, school or like that age bracket or whatever. But like what you said about media, bro, like the movies, the music, like everything that we consume. Also, my mum's from California, and so
sure would have had that.
Yeah, well, so the culture over there was like they're like confident to the max.
100%.
Like if we were to see like a someone like that from New Zealand behaved the way that they did, we'd be like, bro, like who do you think you are? Like,
Yep.
tone it down, bro. Like, you're not the man. But over there, everyone believes and truly feels that they are the man.
And they're flashy. and
Yeah. At whatever, sports or whatever. Every man over there, in California, I guess, because that's where I was, is, yeah, everyone. It's just,
Excess.
yeah.
Almost.
It's like tall poppy doesn't exist at all.
Yep.
Like at all. And I think me witnessing that, I was like, I remember I used to think like, okay, if you, because there would be some guys a lot that just talk like a lot over there, you know what I mean, and just
Yep.
big themselves up in a certain way, and it's always like I'm gonna do this, I do this, I'm the man at this kind of thing, and it's like, well, okay, let's take away that and just see facts for what they are,
Yeah.
and like, are you actually good at what you say that you're good,
Yep.
bro? And I remember like the perception that confidence creates for other people viewing you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I remember if I'm a young man and I see like an older guy just ooze this ultimate like confidence,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm just like, whether he's good or like stink at like basketball, for example, I'm gonna be like, wow, he's the man. Like, yeah. He's the man. He's
And that's
so,
like a
so
big
good.
factor that contributes to how we carried ourselves.
Are we aware of that back then? That's what we're really manipulating people into, like,
Thinking that you're cool.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
that you're
that
this
you're better
person.
than something that you might not actually be.
Societal status or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so where does that line come? Let's say talent for sports, for example. Where does the line come where like does that person actually know that they're good, and how and why do they know that they're good at like basketball?
Yeah.
And does that create the confidence, or where does that like?
Bro, I always used to see like silent confidence.
True.
It's not nonchalant. Like, you know you're cool, but it's almost fake.
Yeah.
Fake humility.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Especially the boys, like Southside boys,
yeah.
or the mean rugby players.
Yeah.
The fake silent,
Oh, nah.
fake silent thing around girls.
Saw you.
Or the yeah. Or the fake humble thing around girls, and then when you're with the bro, just chilling, different person. Eh? That's funny as.
Bro, yeah, you know what? I actually saw that a lot, man. Us
Yeah.
poly boys, man, there's something about that, eh?
In the church too, bro. I remember
Yeah,
when I was
yeah,
at
yeah.
church, I'd
True.
have heaps of bros like that too.
Yeah,
eh?
true.
Humble as at church, and then other places not so much.
Yeah, so, but like, that confidence is there, but like, why? But
Are you
it's-
trying to understand why they have
it's-
that?
It's just so backwards to me. Like, it's so like on both sides that contradicts each other. Like, if you think about the humility, for example, in us poly boys, that humility is like why is it then reversed into like this fake confidence, like arrogant, kind of cocky, and
Nah, it's that. It goes back to tall poppy, bro. 'Cause
Yeah, yeah.
if you're out there, if you're like Izzy,
yeah,
even if you're the man at that stuff,
yeah,
people are gonna try drag you down if you're like that when you're at that level.
yeah.
Because they'll say, "Oh, he thinks he's the man." Like that was
Yeah,
a big
true.
thing when we were younger, eh, bro?
Yeah,
You see someone walking around, and then everyone's like, "Oh, he thinks he's the man." Blah blah blah.
yeah.
blah. 9 times out of 10, they were good dudes.
But I remember I was walking to the pools with my mate, and this boy, but I just went like that to him. I was like, "Sup?" I had a big smile on my face, and he was like, "You want to scrap, G? You want to scrap?
Bro,
You want to scrap, G?" And
that
but I
heaps.
remember thinking like, "Where's this coming
What
from?"
did I do?
Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I legit like spent that next 3 days thinking like, what did I actually like? Why did he just
Why did I do that?
like why?
Oh,
just,
what did I do to make him?
And how does he? Why does he feel like that?
Yeah.
I was just thinking, man, imagine being constantly on edge, where like some other guy says something to you, and you're so insecure and like intimidated, I guess, but or like put yourself down so much that you automatically have to go to violence to like
Yeah.
to prove something, which is a whole
That's-
nother thing. By
That's
the
another
way.
part of that.
Yeah.
Combo. Eh?
A lot of violence, I reckon, is that deep insecurity. Like that guy, for example, that's your go-to. Like if
Yeah.
violence is your go-to as an insecurity, like defense mechanism, bro, you're down a really bad road. Eh?
My one was like when I was 13, and I didn't know that, gee, are you all good meant, do you want to scrap?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was the same thing. I was walking to the shop with my bros that lived near me.
Yeah.
And then there was another set of boys, like they were like neighborhood boys. We knew them, mates with a few of them. And there was this guy that I never spoke to, like he was always around and I'd say sup and stuff. And then I walked past him and he was like, gee, are you all good? And I was like, yeah, bro. He was like, hey, you all good? I was like, yeah, bro, I'm fine.
Bro, the random step out of nowhere honestly confuses me so much, man.
I think it's that insecurity that's harbored, bro. You know what I mean? You harbor it for a while.
Yeah.
And then you think, fuck, I'm going to get this guy. Just
Well,
give me one chance,
I had some boys that like plot from like that morning that they're going to scrap. Like, there's going to be a fight today.
Yeah.
I feel like a scrap today. Yeah, I think you can get into like generational stuff and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's I feel like that's a big part of that too, bro.
Well, so like, I guess that's a good foundation that we can talk about then. Like my dad, he never showed me the confidence, or he never showed me like who he was. It was always other people praising him.
Yeah.
It just randomly, like they were just my whole life, everyone would always just tell me about my dad. Oh, your dad's da da. Oh, your dad da da. Who's your dad? Oh, Fred. Oh, yeah, your dad's da da da. To this day, my whole life. And I used to observe him a lot, and just like just that. To me, was pure humility. It was like, just do the mahi to do the mahi. Do the mahi right. Be honorable in your intentions.
Do the right thing, bro.
Do the right thing.
That's
Put serving was a massive one. Like, he's a big server. He'll always serve others. You know what I mean? Like, he'll always go out and to serve others. And it was always like, it was that confidence that was role model to me. And I think that's a big part of who I am now. It's like, and it talks a lot about in the Bible about doing your good deeds in secrecy, and I think what that means is like not boasting about it. You know what I mean? And you got to really check your heart in that, just to do it just because you know that it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, bro.
And so I think a lot of my, like, I don't know, quietness, or like just that inner peace, I guess, came from seeing my dad back then.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, and because me and my brothers were the same too. Like we just do what needs to be done, and we just kind of that's it. Just because we know it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, bro. My old man's the same.
Yep. Hard.
But all the things that I learned from my dad were like through action, bro. I didn't really talk to him about it. I just saw what kind of man he was. Yeah. Not just for like me and my brothers, but the rest of our whānau as well, bro. He's like the dad figure for heaps of my cousins, eh? Yeah. And like he doesn't, bro, never talks about it like in that way at all. Yeah. Yeah. Bro, that's, I get a lot of how I treat my kids from dad, bro. Because he's the first sweetheart, I reckon.
Yeah, true.
And all my brothers, I think all my brothers are taking that from him too, and their parenting style, bro. Yeah. To all our daughters and all that stuff. Because he was different with us because we're boys. But once we saw how he was with our sister, completely different. And
that's true.
Opened us up.
That's a whole nother thing of confidence too, is like a dad being affectionate with their kids, Yeah. And like verbally, and my dad's like a big physical touch guy too. Like he always have a hand here or he can't walk past without doing that kind of thing. Yeah,
my dad's the same, bro. Yeah, a lover, a full-on lover. Yeah, and a servant. Yeah, that I think that's like a big part of getting over that insecurity as well, bro. Yeah, as finding out your roots, bro, who you are. Yeah. And that's pretty much learnt by like sitting with yourself, I feel like. You know what I mean? Asking all the tough questions, solidifying your roots as a person, like, and I think Mauritonga as well is a good anchor in that as well, bro. Yeah. Because you can see a lot of people who use Mauritonga in a different way to I think like at the base of Mauritonga, the biggest thing is uplifting the collective as opposed to yourself. Yeah, true. And we see that all the time in the marae and all that stuff, going out the back and out the front.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I mean?
think it's kind of structured that way to build up our men like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
When you're like immersed in that kind of life, and
100%.
it's a beautiful thing, eh? You know? Yeah, hard, 100%. Man, just growing up on Marae's, you know, my whole life, and just dad was always on the pipe, so it was like I had to sit next to him or sit behind him, and he would normally just make me sit next to him and just be the example.
Listen,
yeah,
yeah.
and just be the example, and yeah, I'd soak in all of that.
Bro,
Yeah,
I was a little shit in Texas, bro.
yeah,
Growing up at all the tangi and all that. Ringing the church bell and all that stuff. But I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
there. And I think through getting scolded and all that stuff as a kid, bro, you learn the importance of like having having your place to call your own. And when you have
Yeah,
that
yeah.
place to call your own, you know where you belong, bro. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. So like, I think a big part of building confidence up in young Maori men, or just Polynesians, and I guess men in general in New Zealand, I feel, is going back to like where you come from, and
Yeah, bro.
and just like the importance of that. And it's cool because, you know, we're seeing a lot of our bros now go back to, you know, and there's almost like this
An
like,
exodus, a massive
yeah,
exodus
it's
of
like-
people going
it's-
back,
it's-
reconnecting.
yeah 100%. It's been like revitalized of, you know, connecting back to, you know, your roots as a Māori, and which is awesome to see as well.
Yeah.
'Cause at least it's something, you know what I mean? But it's buzzy how like you just go through these certain phases of life, and then you kind of get to around our age where you're like, something's missing.
Yeah.
And then for some reason we just naturally circle back to like whakapapa and you
Yeah,
know,
bro.
and go back to where we come from and stuff like that, which is cool. And like a lot of the youth that I'm working with at the moment, a big part of that is that like teaching the importance of having a cultural identity and just what that can do for you. And I think it's just connecting the dots within you as a person, as a man, you know.
Yeah, bro. And you
Yeah.
find that when you do go back and learn about who you are as a person, your whakapapa and all that stuff, you start to make these hononga
Yeah,
between those places. Sorry, connections. You start to make these connections between the place that you're from,
yeah,
what kind of people, all these the whanaunga on your tree,
yeah,
and how you relate to them. And you're like, oh yeah, I think that's where I get this from. That's where I get that from. Yeah, bro.
yeah,
That's buzzy,
100%, man.
that sense of belonging. I think
Yeah.
that's a big part of confidence in yourself
Yeah,
as a man, is having a sense of belonging. Because a lot of us struggle with belonging, especially those of us whose whānau have moved away from where like our ancestral lands are down the line and all that stuff. It's a lot like our poly brothers whose grandparents have come from Sa or Tonga
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all that
yeah.
stuff. It's like us. I think we're kind of similar in that, only the distance is a lot shorter, but still
yeah,
the
right.
disconnection's there, bro.
Well, I mean, 'cause you know, you have a lot of like first gen that were born here, you know what I
Yeah,
mean,
bro.
and from the islands and stuff, and then you see their kids get treated a little bit differently than the ones that come from the islands, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
bro. It's like I think it's the same
yeah,
with Māori as well.
yeah,
You know, the ones who are born away from our
yeah,
from our kainga,
yeah,
you know, treated a bit different than the ones who are always on the pie. And I don't think that's, I don't know, it's a good and a bad thing.
mm.
I feel like, because if you're just going back there and everything's handed to you, then you're
Yeah.
not gonna have that experience of learning
True.
and kōrero with your whānau,
Yep,
doing the mahi.
100%. I think
Yeah.
it's like a big part of the parents' responsibility too, to kind of
To educate us,
Bro,
bro.
Polynesians, Samoans, and Tongans and Fijians and stuff do this really well, where they keep their culture alive, even
Just
if,
in their whare, bro.
yeah,
which I
just like
find
the
that mean.
tikanga that they practice every day, and language, food, you know, all that
Church
kind of
and-
stuff.
yeah.
And I think with anything, there's some good and bad, and a lot of that as well. But I mean, you can't fault someone for wanting a better life that's somewhere else. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
100%.
But
bro.
it is like proven, you know, that some of those, I don't want to say consequences, but I guess effects of being born here, not being, you know, surrounded or necessarily brought up. And not to throw my wife under the bus, but you know, Jade, she didn't grow up like proper for our Samoa, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she didn't, and for whatever reason, that's not, not really my business, but now she's wanting to like go back to circle for, especially being married to me, where I was quite the opposite. I was very blessed to grow up and to know my language and to know my history and all that kind of stuff. And that's something I've always, especially having kids, I wanted to practice in the house, you know what I mean, and just kind of have that there. But like I'm only confident because I know that, you know what I mean, because I know. And I think that's where that confidence comes from. And I think about this quite a lot too, about confidence and cultural identity and stuff. And I think as a man, it's just you have something to take ownership of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think ownership is really important in a man's life.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of the insecurities and a lot of, I guess, the doubts and that is because there's a lack of ownership of who you are. And,
bro.
And whakapapa and everything else, and and so learning all that stuff, you just add more things to take ownership of, and
and then you learn responsibility, accountability through doing those things.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And there will come a time where, God willing, you have kids, and now it's time to pass it on, Now it's time to give, or even just random people that you meet, you know what I mean? Yes. I traveled the world since I was young, and I've just soaking in so much culture just naturally made me like want to observe, how everyone is and stuff like that.
Yeah, bro. I do that too, bro, but it's mostly to find those hononga.
Yeah.
Like the similarities between cultures.
Yeah.
Because we have so much telling us that we're all different.
Well, so that's interesting, because I feel like that's a big part that's missing in men, is that we're searching for these connections, but if you're not connected to you first, then you're gonna have nothing to connect to.
I feel that, bro.
And I feel like I was a lot of like my just running my mouth too much or wanting to impress other people was because I was trying to make these connections, but nothing was sticking because I wasn't connected to myself yet. You know?
I feel that, bro.
Yeah, and the older I got, and I guess the more I felt connected or sought out that connection with who I was and where I'm from, that now you start meeting people and those connections are like, oh, I do this, like you did it, we do that too. Yeah, we do that too. Yeah. And then I think it's a different relationship and it's a different appreciation for yourself, and I think it's a mutual thing. You know what I mean? Like you just feel it, like I minorities in general. I think we've spoken this the last one, but just when you meet other minorities, and I've kind of been to a lot of other minority countries, and man, it's just natural, like food, family, and
bro,
little stuff like take your shoes off at the door.
There's like beautiful values
that
are global, except for one.
Well,
except for one.
and the I guess the bad stuff that comes with being a minority too is also shared, like the alcoholism, the drugs, and
the way we're treated in general in society.
Family violence as well is another one, and there's those things that we share as well. It's not just all the good, which is also quite interesting to me as well. But I remember, like, I guess now that we're on cultures, like just thinking, or the confidence of a Polynesian young man and the confidence of a Pākehā young man was two totally different things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
I always felt like the Pākehā people that I kind of grew up, that were like young boys the same age as me, they always just felt like at peace, like life was all good, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I never understood that, like, but then I also used to question, like, why am I always on edge for some reason? Yeah. Or why am I always having like watching my back kind of thing? Or it's weird, Like I don't want to say we go through more, but I personally felt like I did at the time, and I couldn't explain it.
I think us as Māori, there's always that inherent thing that we have to be 2 times or 10 times as clever or as strong or as apt at something to prove that we aren't. that demographic that we're made out to be, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's a big part of it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Where I grew up, Jim, all Polynesians, bro. So it was the best of the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we didn't really, I didn't really have that growing up, like at my hood. But whenever we went out to
Yeah.
other places, I'd feel it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm grateful for that. I'm very grateful for that. Bro.
Well, that's the other thing too, you know, when you're kind of secluded in these like little towns that we're from, it's like a loop, you know. It just
Yeah.
goes on for on and on and on. Same stories, the same activities. It's like yeah, we just copy and
limited
pasting
professions,
lives.
limited things that you can amount to and all that stuff, or that's kind of put on those areas. But
True.
you do see people
Yeah,
who
true.
still make it work, bro.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Yeah.
100% they make it work. And I think this is where I'm getting to at my life at the moment, is I'm wanting to simplify a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wanting to strip back a lot of things and just kind of go back to like the essence of I don't know, of this life that I have now. I'm wanting to do less and spend more time with like
at
with,
home and
at home
I feel that, bro.
and just be here, you know what I mean? And just, be around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting to me. Yeah. So, cultural identity is definitely a massive one, with confidence. And I think, once you start recognizing, like, you're just arrogant, like you're not actually confident, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I went kind of through a phase of like you start second guessing a lot of things. You start like,
Yeah, because you don't want to be that person again.
you don't want to be that person again. And that in itself can create even more insecurities.
Yeah, another complex. Or,
After that, because man, now you just start thinking, what am I like?
Am I all those things?
I used to be. I got so quiet after that. After I realized all these years of talking way too much, that I was just an arrogant little, and I got super quiet and isolated after that. Yeah, and I was just like, man, I found it hard to find my voice again.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking, okay, when I speak, it's like, because I know this is what I feel like I have to say, and I'm just gonna get it off my heart. And there was a lot in that too. I think, especially when it comes to like wisdom and advice and stuff, there's timing, there's a lot of things, yeah. But anyways, I started finding this newfound confidence in myself where nothing really bugged me like that, I think. Yeah, like there was no, I couldn't really get shaken like that. I went through a couple hard years, maybe like 3 or 4 years or a bit more, at these jobs that were really like testing for me, that really built my like resiliency, and the staff there were just straight up rude, man. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna say the name, okay? I know some of you watch this, but
Drop it.
man, I had my manager or team lead, or whatever you call it, call me stupid in front of, in front of our whole staff. Yeah, and then like we brought it up, and her bosses just kind of like let it happen, you know what I mean?
That's weird.
There was
when
no
people do
like
that,
there was no repercussions on for her. There was no checking up on me after that if I was okay. And this was like a Christian work, like this. Yeah, this was part of the ministry and stuff. Not to, this is my own personal experience.
He's narrowed it down.
Yeah, that didn't damper, anything on my end, but that hurt me a lot. And to be honest, that stuck with me kind of to this day. Like I have forgiven and I have kind of forgotten, but I just, that as a person, was just like yuck to me. Like I was like, man, you're yuck to be this kind of person. Yeah, which obviously has got her own journey, whatever. Anyways, that built a lot of resiliency in me to where I had to kind of go through that, because like when someone puts you down like that, and then the stuff at my construction job happened, which was massive, you know, and yeah, that going through stuff like that. Once you get past all of that, and then the lessons start coming in, I don't know. I found like once
Like,
you,
I feel like once that happens to you, you're like, this has happened to me and I'm still here. So if I'm still here,
yeah,
there must be something about me that's
100%.
good.
And so you have to like you have to be intentional about seeking out those lessons, because they're definitely there, but they're definitely really hard to like find,
Yeah, bro.
because it's very easy to you know, to sit in whatever
Your
you
wilderness.
you just kind of gone through. But I figured out that I had this peace inside of me this whole time, that I was just I remember having flashbacks of people like, you know, always telling me I'm the calm guy, or I'm the cool, calm, collected guy, and I think that's naturally who I am. But I think I just spent so long fighting against that, or trying to be not that, that I kind of forgot, you know. And so after all that stuff happened, and then I kind of circled back to that, and circled back to my cultural identity and who I was, and I was just like, oh, like it felt so natural, you know what I mean? Like this is who I always was.
Yeah, you almost want to slap yourself when you get to that place.
Yeah,
'Cause you're
100%.
like, why'd you waste your? Yeah.
100%.
But that's life, you
It
know.
is life. Yeah.
It happens, and yeah,
Yeah,
we
it
roll
is
with
life. But well, so like, even like that, it is life. Like when you see someone who's kind of going through something that you've gone through, and you're on the other end of that, like it's so hard to be like, oh, it's just life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we made it. We were fortunate to make it onto the other side.
Yeah.
But we obviously don't know what the outcome's going to be for these people that kind of go through the same thing.
I think my facado on that is, you can be there, but people aren't gonna accept help if they're not ready.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always just watch. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when your kids first learn to walk. You know, you follow behind them and you don't grab them,
Yeah.
but you're there just spotting.
Yeah.
That's what kind of If I see any other youngers go through that, that's my kind of facado on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you mean. You see it and you're like, hey.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Well, and also, like, this might be a bit of a sensitive topic too, but like, the way some of the polys are made to view their elders as well.
Yeah.
Once I kind of clicked out of like, we should just be respecting everyone in general.
Yeah.
Because then you start thinking like, hang on, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, yo, dum dum.
I don't know you.
You're actual dum dum.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, and I was like,
100%.
man, no,
I think that's why, like, when we learn those things, it's kind of like, when it came like full circle, my thing was like, okay, be open, but at the same time, give respect where it's due.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't, that doesn't mean you go and scream on a lady or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just means that, you know when your point is to veer off into your own lane.
Man, I don't like it when those elders in our communities take advantage of us with that elderly stuff.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I've had a few elders try and just give me chores or tasks, just like palming off kind of thing, 'cause they don't want to take the responsibility. Especially, I'm gonna say one that
I just snitched to my mum, G. I'm like, G, scrap her.
karakia is a big one.
Yeah.
Oh, Kels, can you say karakia? Why can't you say it? Like, this is like this third month that you've told me to say karakia. Like, how about you say karakia? Like, why am I like?
Yeah.
Why are you putting that pressure on me, making me feel like it's my responsibility, like it's gonna benefit me more if I do it, when you're actually the one who's afraid to do it,
And it's your job.
Yeah, and you don't want to do it, but you're not gonna take ownership of that and say, I'm actually afraid and nervous to say karakia, so I'm gonna make you say karakia all the time. You know, I hate that stuff, man. That stuff drives me nuts, man.
Yeah.
When they bring like culture and like, I guess that elderly status into it to make you like just like nah.
Nah,
I
bro.
can't respect that at all, because you're actually not teaching me anything. You're just showing me that you don't know how to do it. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm actually looking down at you a little
That's a
bit.
crack up one, G.
Yeah.
So
Those-
all the eyes go closed. This. Oh, cows.
Cows, you gotta say karakia.
So
Bro, how
I've noted
how
that.
many
I've made a
times have
mental
I
note.
got the cows? You got us for karakia. I'm just
Even
like,
I do it,
bro. Well, because it's a natural thing, you know. So like, I know they don't know.
Yeah.
So if they don't know, then and they know I know, then it makes obvious sense that to get me to
That
do it.
you-
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want them to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't have to do that, and I do understand it, and I do get it a lot. And to be honest, I say it anyways, just because one, it's in front of like how many people, and I don't want to make a scene in front of like everyone, but especially if we're in front of like a class or like people that are here to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, man, you should.
You should learn.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. So that confidence, I guess, of like, now that I've kind of circled back to everything and
Bro, it's self-love. And
Yeah, yeah.
knowing yourself as well.
yeah.
Like, if you know that you're going to walk into a situation where you know you're not going to enjoy yourself,
Mm.
2, you're not going to connect with people, and 3, you're probably not going to gain anything from that,
Yeah.
then obviously, now that we're at this age, we're like, yeah, no thanks. But to think that at one stage in our lives, we were like, oh yeah, we'll just go check it out, and I'll be the man in there.
But the
That's
amount of
crazy.
times that like I've gone to town when I didn't want to go to town,
Yeah.
just to like, you know, to
They're
show
like,
my
oh,
face.
it's a rite of passage. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah,
Bro, I
yeah.
could have saved heaps of money, G.
Yeah, 100%.
Heaps of money, heaps of time.
It wasn't
heaps
even
of
my
effort.
money either. It was probably my parents' money at that time too.
Yeah.
Sad as. But yeah, yeah, and we both got boys now, so like, now that's the real test. You know what I mean? It is like kind of showing them.
Yeah, my boy is kind of like how I was when I was younger as well. I warn him off it as much as I can. But I think the big thing's taking him back like younger than I did, bro.
Mm.
And making sure he knows everyone and does things, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
So that he can have that connection.
yeah.
Because now when we go back home to Rotorua, I don't even see him, bro. He goes straight in the back or stuff like that. Or
Yeah,
goes hangs
yeah,
out
yeah.
with his cousins.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's he's lucky for that, I feel like.
My boy's definitely like very emotional.
Very
He's got such a pure heart too.
Yep.
Um,
Beautiful lad.
yeah, he doesn't wanna hurt anyone. He feels really bad if he's like disappointed anyone.
But he gets excited, eh? Super
Bro,
excited.
And he's just like
And I love it because it reminds me of...
goes off the friggin' rails, man. We took him to the mall today. 'Cause I wanted a coffee, and then so we went to the mall, and there's little playgrounds that play areas or whatever that the kids can go. And then so I was just sitting there, and there was two other boys there. One was a baby, one was about maybe 6 or 7. And then Jade was in the bathroom, and then all you can hear is Kai go, bro, screaming the mall down, man. And I was just letting it happen, and Jade was like, I could hear him inside the toilets. I was like 100 meters away. And I was just like, yeah.
Do you, my
yeah,
son?
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
the man.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that creating confidence early on stems from that, you know, just allowing our boys to naturally be themselves.
Do his thing, eh, bro?
Yeah. And like obviously teach boundaries and stuff like that. And be considerate of others, which is the main thing. But don't like, I think in that moment I naturally wanted to be like, bro, shush, bro. Like, what are you screaming for? But I was looking at him like, man, he's actually happy as, you know what I mean? What's noise? Is noise actually like affecting anyone like that? You know, like nah, it's not. And so I was like, just let it happen, you know, 'cause he's enjoying himself. And I don't know how this other boy's gonna react if he doesn't like it. If he starts crying, then obviously have to deal with it. But he seems fine, so I'm just gonna let it happen. Trying not to be as reactive as like you naturally want to be too,
Yeah.
as a dad.
I feel that.
So yeah, I guess to like give you guys some advice now, or some lessons that we've learned in this confidence thing, for me at least, was like, one, just there's this natural feeling in you that you just know that this is who you are and what you do, kind of thing. Like, it's just like, I don't know how to explain it any other way than that. It's just, it feels the thing with the least resistance, and it just feels right. You know what I mean? Like, you just know, like, me being just a quiet, calm kind of guy, to me feels like I can, there's no effort involved in me doing that, because it's just naturally who I am. And so if you guys find those kind of certain things in your lives that, your characteristics that have the least resistance that you can just naturally do, then that's probably who you are. Create some boundaries around that. Obviously, have some self-awareness and awareness of others, but don't discourage yourselves from being that, or feeling like you have to change that for other people. But I don't know how many years I spent like blocking myself from being myself, when it, like, even social media now is circling back to like authenticity. You know what I mean? Like, people are wanting like authentic things. I'm just like, bro, you telling me I could have been myself this whole time? So I know it's hard if you don't know yourself, but I guess that's the first step, is finding the path of least resistance. And culture identity is definitely a big one. I don't care where you come from, you have a culture behind you, and there's some history behind you, and the more you seek out that information, I believe that the more it kind of helps connect the dots, like what we were saying, to who you are. It's a beautiful thing, and it's something that you should own and be proud of, because I definitely am as well. And I guess know the difference between confidence and arrogance, man. Like, just because you're like mean as at something doesn't mean that you should be bragging about it to the point where like you're putting other people down,
or making them uncomfortable,
or making them uncomfortable. That goes back to self-awareness and awareness of others. But if someone tries to discredit you, that that you're mean at, then don't let that happen either. You know what I mean? But also, again, they're just words, and the words only have power if you give them power. And that goes for yourself too. If you're saying bad things about yourself, then obviously you're going to give those bad words power.
Find out who you are, because there's so many people out there who are going to tell you who you are, but you have to find those answers out yourself.
Which is crazy, by the way.
Yeah. Everybody's going to tell you who you are, but only you know the actual answer to it, and you will find it in some place. I can't tell you what place you'll find it. It doesn't work like that. Good places you can look in your family and your culture and your environment, and your country, things like that, the easy stuff. You can find yourself there. Once you know yourself, you have no reason whatsoever to be something that you're not. Love you. You'll figure it out.
See you guys in the next episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Bye. Love you.